Back when I was in high school, this was a new car. It was the rage of mid-50s soccer moms dropping their kids off to school. Now, in 2019, it's the official vehicle of semi-broke, mid-20-year-old hipsters trying to make it in the world. This is the review of the 2011 Mercury Milan. To start this review, I like to discuss the exterior features of this beautiful Mercury Milan. It's a very handsome car. It's got a lot of decent styling cues. For example, the waterfall grille, the single beam headlight. This is a regular headlight as well as the brights. The brights actually, the light transfers into there and it shines out. So it's one unit, the headlight. It's got nice little fog lights down there. This is nice red paint. This is Candy Apple Fire Mist. It's a nice Ford paint. These rims are actually hubcaps designed to look like chrome rims, but they're actually just $90 hubcaps. It's actually pretty sharp. There is a keyless entry pad. If you lock your keys in this car, or you want to lock your keys in your car and all this stuff, you just type in the code, you press these two together, it'll illuminate and you can open the door. Other styling cues is a very European antenna. It's centered and in the middle of the roof, it sticks out. And a couple other styling cues here is the nice spoiler. It's integrated into the trunk of the car. And, you know, for a car of this era, it's a very stylish car. And it's definitely a nice car for the money, exterior-wise. So, yeah, I like it. For almost a 10-year-old vehicle, and for being under $5,000, this car has a lot of standard features. For example, the auto power window, power locks, automatic headlights that detect darkness. We have heated mirrors. We have cruise control. All the steering wheel switches are here. Volume, you could set the favorite radio station. Hold on a second. Sirius radio.
Stay home, stay safe.
Yeah, stay home, stay safe, sure. Aux cord, you can set up your phone to it. CD, AM, FM. Has an auto dimming mirror, which is nice. The dice I put in, obviously. Sunroof. Works. And it has hands-free phone, which was a big deal for 2011. But it's kind of a garbage system because here, I'll give you an example. Hold on a second.
Phone, please say a command.
Call Sean.
Oh, is that correct?
No. Call Sean.
Phone, please say a command.
Call Sean.
No entries.
Yeah, this thing is obviously a piece of shit. But if you do get a call on it, you got to answer it with your phone, and it'll go through the car. So, you know, big deal. But again, what do you want for $5,000? So, actually, I paid $3,000 for this. So, you know, it ain't bad. But you know, it's a nice place to be. I guess it's a safe space. It's what older folks like to say for millennials. I feel safe from COVID-19 in here, I guess. I don't know. I got my, you know, my bandana. So, you know, we're good. I feel nice in this thing. So, yeah, the interior's, like I said, it is what it is for 10 years old. The materials are okay. I mean, it's pretty solid. I don't know. It's just a generic car, and it is what it is. So let's see what's under the hood. This car has the 2.5 4-cylinder Duratec motor. It makes 175 horsepower and 175 foot-pounds of torque. It makes this power at about 6,500 RPM. It's made into a 6-speed automatic transmission. Very smooth throughout the gears, very smooth shifting transmission. This car is very easily serviceable. The serpentine belt is right here. Coolant's right there, spark plugs are right there, easy to get to. Batteries right here, I actually changed that myself recently, very easy to do. Air filters right here, the brake fluids right there. These motors are very good, they're very reliable, very durable. I put 15,000 miles on this so far and it's given me no trouble. There's two common problems with these cars. One being the ABS and traction control system, which will malfunction at some point, and also the thermostat. The thermostat is located right here, and it's kind of a hard job to do. It'd be very expensive to do if you were to hire a mechanic. You have to remove this intake, you have to remove the belt, you have to push this air conditioning hose forward, remove the radiator hose, and it's a good 2-3 hours worth of work to do. And I would advise doing it yourself. You'd save actually a lot of money. It's doable. It's just very time consuming. So let's hear it run. It sounds pretty healthy. It's not a powerhouse. You're not going to win any races or anything, but very reliable drivetrain, and it's all in all very sound mechanical car, very cheap and easy to maintain. So, now that you saw the mechanicals, we're going to put this car to work. We're going to go through a slalom, and then we're going to do a braking test and see how the car performs. It handled good 10 years ago, so let's see if it handles good now. As you saw from the footage of the performance segment of this, in the slalom, with the narrow space between the cones, I was only able to get the car up to about 35, 40, and I was really giving it all it had. Tires were screeching and everything, but it handled that quite well. In the braking, as I discussed in the mechanicals, due to the fact that the ABS system has a malfunction, as you can see in this gauge cluster here, the ABS and the traction control light are on, and that's due to a sensor. It's a very common problem on these vehicles. The sensors in the wheel hubs, they seem to miscommunicate with the rest of the traction control and ABS system, and it throws this code on the gauge cluster, and it totally shuts off the stability control, the traction control, and the ABS. So what that means is, in the slalom, tire screeching and everything, the car could have got probably a lot more grip. I could have probably got through the cones probably at 50, probably got 10 more miles an hour out of it if I had the stability control, which wasn't working. And then in the braking segment, I was doing about 40 and I came to a full stop and the car just skidded like in a 70s action movie, like I said. And that was due to the fact that the ABS system is totally disconnected from the vehicle. So if the ABS system was on, the skid wouldn't have occurred and the car would have stopped a lot sooner than it did. And it's basically, without these safety systems, it's like a car from about 1990, 1995 that didn't have these things. Before we had these technological advancements, really that's what cars would do. They would skid at stops, they would screech tires at sharp turns and stuff like that, and it wasn't as safe as things are now. If this system was working correctly, you'd see a lot more planted vehicle, a car that would stop better, just a totally different scenario. But you know, like I said, it's a common problem. It's not expensive to fix, but it's very time consuming, and you know, hopefully I'll address that. But it's actually good to see that, because a lot of these vehicles in the used car market have this problem. A lot of people don't fix them, and that's what happens. That's how the cars break, that's how they handle, and that's just the way it is. It's not a perfect car anymore, and as you see with age, you see how things deteriorate, and that's one of the segments where I feel this car kind of fails, is in panic stops and like severe handling conditions. You know, as you'll see in another segment of this, you know, the car will handle decently and, you know, day-to-day driving, but these panic stops and panic turns, it's fallen short, and that's because of that error with it. But hopefully we could address it further on. But for the time being, I'd rather show it like it is, and that's how you'll see a lot of these cars. A lot of these cars have that malfunction, and that's how they operate. Now that we did the performance segment, let's take the car on a more practical driving segment. How it would drive on just regular roads, and we'll also do a 0 to 60. Just see the practical driving experience of the car. So let's take off, shall we? The drivetrain of this car is actually developed by Mazda. The motor and transmission, it's in a lot of Mazda vehicles, so I think that's why it's been so reliable and durable, because it's not a Ford product. I'm not saying that Fords are bad, but their four-cylinder drivetrains were never very reliable. Americans are known for making big V8s, V6s, and stuff like that. But you know, you get it on roads like this windy country road, and you put your foot into it a little bit. It handles pretty good. And the ride is very nice. It handles bumps and potholes, very little rattles, stuff like that. Well, this road's smooth, so it's kind of hard to give you an example. I think there's some bumps up the road. You can see how it handles them. The stereo's very nice too.
I mean, he was such a talent.
Let's see if we can play some music. So that handles very nicely. It's very quiet interior. We just went over that divot at speed and really didn't hear much of anything. It's very reminiscent of Lincolns of this era. Well, it is the intermediate. Ford is the intermediate between a Ford and a Lincoln. It's kind of the poor man's Lincoln. Like I said, it's a very nice daily driver. And we're approaching the state highway here. We're going to do a 0 to 60. And now that we're entering the highway, let's do a 0 to 60. Let's just make sure that car goes. And let's see. $60. That was 8.5 seconds. Very good numbers for a sedan in this segment, especially for its age. That's on par with 2020 Camrys and Accords. Very decent numbers, and also very decent fuel mileage numbers. The fuel mileage on this is about 25-30 on the highway, about 20 in the city. So, you know, you definitely save money with this, and it's very economical gas-wise. And like I said before, it's a very nice riding car, very peppy, good performance. I mean, from 60, put your foot in it, and boom, you're right at 7. I mean, like I said, for three grand, definite value for your money. You can't really go wrong for that. consist of probably what, 2 Apple computers. So I'd rather have this. I think you can go further.